Let's start with our first news. Jorge Masvidal wants Leon Edwards, but says the UFC is difficult when it comes to negotiating fighter pay. He says they have been talking for a while, but they still have not landed on an agreement yet. He makes it clear that he respects the UFC, but also admits they make you work for every single thing, and it is never exactly what you want it to be. They are still working to get something done, and Masvidal believes a return around International Fight Week would be ideal. He says the timing would be huge for him. When asked about preparation, he explains that the more time he gets, the better he performs. He suggests around 4 to 5 months would be perfect to return at his best shape. He discusses returning to middleweight or welterweight, saying he does not want to cut weight, but will do it for the right opponent. He is open to fighting at welterweight if the names make sense. He says he just needs to get back on a strict diet if required. He says if the UFC gives him the Leon Edwards fight, he will move up to 170 pounds without hesitation. He believes it is the fight fans want to see, and it makes the most sense for both athletes. He adds that Leon Edwards is not someone you just show up and fight randomly, and this is a big-name matchup. He continues with his signature trash talk, saying he already gave Leon a 2-piece and a soda, and now it is time for dessert, describing the fight like a full buffet. He argues that Leon once refused the fight when Masvidal had a losing streak, but now Leon also has multiple losses, making the matchup more relevant. He says this is the low-hanging fruit for the UFC, and they should just give him what he is asking for to make the fight happen and move forward with the division for the fans now. Move on to another news. Kamaru Usman has urged Paulo Costa to push for a 205-pound title shot after his impressive debut win over Azamat Mzakonov. The former welterweight champion believes Costa should stay at light heavyweight after a strong performance in his new division, noting that he looked bigger, faster, and in excellent shape at 205 pounds and could quickly move into title contention with just one more big win. Right now, the light heavyweight division is wide open, with Carlos Ulberg sidelined and likely stripped, Magomed Ankalaev coming off a loss, and no clear number one contender. The path to the belt has rarely looked more accessible. Usman says his advice carries weight because he understands what it takes to climb divisions and take advantage of chaos, and he believes Costa can become a major player at 205 if he continues winning. In Breakdown, he praised Costa, saying he broke him down, stayed mobile, and used excellent side-to-side movement, avoiding pressure and landing clean body kicks. Usman added that Costa should not return to middleweight and should remain at light heavyweight because he did not look small. He looked strong and physically imposing against his opponent. He also noted that Costa started landing jabs, straight punches, and head kicks as the fight progressed, showing increasing confidence and control across rounds. Usman concluded that if Costa can secure one more victory over a top-ranked opponent, he would be firmly in the title conversation and potentially on a fast track to a championship opportunity at 205 pounds. He described this as a perfect storm for Costa to chase gold in a second division. The situation in the division is currently unsettled, with shifting rankings and uncertainty creating openings for rising contenders to capitalize quickly. Usman emphasized that timing is everything, and that fighters who seize momentum during transitional periods often find themselves in unexpected title positions. He believes Costa has the physical tools, durability, and power to make a serious run if he stays disciplined and active. The former champion reiterated that consistency will be the deciding factor in Costa's future success, and that maintaining form at 205 could change everything for his career trajectory in the coming months and beyond. He added that the division is open right now, and opportunities will not last forever, making urgency crucial for every contender in this moment in MMA. Move on to another news. Dustin Poirier has weighed in on the light heavyweight division and says he wants to see Paulo Costa stay at 205 and face Khalil Rountree next. He believes the matchup makes sense as a fun and explosive fight rather than an immediate title shot, describing it as a potential banger. Poirier says he is not calling it a title fight, at least not yet, but insists it is a matchup that fans would love to see. He explains that if he were a matchmaker, Costa versus Rountree would be an ideal next step to test where both fighters stand in the division. He calls it a strong addition to the light heavyweight scene and a fight that brings excitement and new energy. He suggests that the bout could even serve as a title eliminator, depending on how things develop. but also questions what should happen with the belt in the meantime. Poirier acknowledges the uncertainty in the division and says that even if the champion is out for a long time, there is still too much movement happening in the rankings to make a rushed decision. He argues that there is no clear-cut contender right now, and because of that, it might make sense to let the situation breathe while contenders continue to fight and prove themselves. In his view, the division does not currently have a single obvious challenger for the belt, so allowing more fights to play out could bring clarity. Poirier adds that light heavyweight needs new blood and says the division is ready for fresh matchups and rising contenders. He believes Costa could represent exactly that new energy at 205 pounds if he continues to compete in the division. He also emphasizes that exciting matchups are important for keeping the division active and relevant. He concludes by saying that Paulo Costa might be that new force at light heavyweight, especially after his recent performances. The idea of Costa facing Roundtree is presented as a high-intensity matchup that could reshape the division's landscape and build momentum for both fighters moving forward in their careers. Move on to another news. Sean O'Malley and the MMA Guru have previewed the potential matchup between Khamzat Chimaev and Sean Strickland, discussing how the fight could play out over 5 rounds and what challenges both fighters would face. O'Malley reflects on his own experience being taken down by Merab, saying it made him especially interested in how Strickland would handle the grappling pressure in this matchup. He believes Khamzat would likely look to take Strickland down early and control him on the ground, whether through heavy ground and pound or by hunting for a submission finish. However, O'Malley also points out that this is a 25-minute fight, and Strickland has a crazy gas tank. He notes that while Strickland's cardio is well known, it has never really been tested in a situation where he is repeatedly taken down, forced to stand up, and then taken down again in constant grappling exchanges. He explains that this kind of pressure is extremely exhausting, describing how it affects both physical endurance and striking sharpness. He recalls his own fight with Merab, saying that in the later rounds he was taken down multiple times, got back up repeatedly, and eventually felt completely drained from the constant scrambles. According to O'Malley, that type of grind can make a fighter start second-guessing their striking and slow their reactions over time. He says that is why the grappling threat in this matchup is so important, because it can change the entire rhythm of the fight, even for a durable striker like Strickland. Still, O'Malley expresses curiosity about how Strickland would respond if he is taken down by Khamzat, but continues to get back up and turn it into a war. He says that scenario would make the fight extremely exciting and unpredictable, especially if Strickland can force Khamzat into extended exchanges on the feet. In the end, he acknowledges that Khamzat likely has the higher probability to win due to his grappling dominance and pressure style. However, he also emphasizes that if anyone can survive that storm and make it competitive, it would be a fighter like Sean Strickland, making the matchup one of the most intriguing stylistic clashes in the division. Move on to another news. An altercation between Michael Morales and Ian Garry has now been revealed, adding serious tension to the welterweight title picture as both fighters poured a potential championship opportunity against Islam Makhachev. Michael Morales, one of the top-ranked welterweight contenders and a potential next challenger for the title, has reportedly been involved in 2 notable run-ins recently. The first was a heated confrontation with Ian Garry. Morales described the moment as intense, claiming that Garry is lucky there were no cameras around to capture exactly what happened. This has only added fuel to the growing rivalry between the two, as they both compete for the same title shot. The second encounter was much more calm and took place at UFC 322, the event where Islam Makhachev captured the welterweight championship. Morales explained that this time there was no conflict, as the two fighters simply acknowledged each other from a distance, understanding that their paths could cross very soon inside the octagon. With Morales seemingly positioned as the frontrunner for the next title opportunity, and Garry continuing to push for his chance, the tension between them is rising both inside and outside the spotlight. Meanwhile, Islam Makhachev's first welterweight title defense is expected to take place in August at UFC 331, nearly a year after winning the belt. In a recent interview, Morales spoke openly about his encounters. He confirmed that he had a previous run-in with Ian Garry at the Performance Institute in Las Vegas, saying that he confronted him directly. However, he noted that since there were no cameras present, there was no proof of what occurred. He added that both fighters simply have their own versions of events, and that the situation will ultimately be settled in the cage. Morales also stated that if he fights Garry, it would be a completely different approach compared to his previous bouts, suggesting he may fight more aggressively than before. He emphasized that he has been on a strong run of first-round knockouts, but hinted that the matchup would bring out a different version of him. When discussing Islam Makhachev, Morales revealed that they were on the same fight card when Islam won the welterweight title. He said they briefly saw each other backstage and exchanged a simple greeting from a distance, fully aware of what could be coming in the future. Morales showed no hesitation in his mindset toward the champion, stating that he does not place Islam on a pedestal and views him as just another fighter. He made it clear that he believes Islam is human like everyone else and can be defeated, expressing confidence that he can take the belt from him when the opportunity arrives. Move on to another news. Ilia Topuria has slammed Carlos Ulberg in a recent Instagram Live appearance, taking aim at the newly crowned light heavyweight champion and sparking major controversy across the MMA world. The lightweight champion did not hold back, as he once again targeted a freshly crowned title holder and made comments designed to generate headlines. True to his reputation, Ilia made it clear that he will talk trash to anyone, regardless of weight class. And this time, his attention was on Ulberg after his recent title win. He called Ulberg a fake champion, claiming that he only won the belt because Jiří Procházka felt sorry for him during their fight. He pointed out that Jiří's knee was damaged early in the bout and argued that the champion situation should have ended differently. According to Ilia, Jiří showed mercy in the fight instead of finishing him when he had the chance. Ilia went further, saying that he would never show that kind of mercy inside the cage. He emphasized that he fights with a killer instinct, explaining that if he senses weakness or sees blood, he immediately goes for the finish without hesitation. He stated that he would have taken Ulberg's head off if he had been in that position. He continued his criticism by saying that Ulberg got lucky and is not a real champion yet in his eyes. The comments quickly spread online, drawing heavy reactions from fans and fighters alike, many of whom questioned why Ilia continues to call out champions and contenders from divisions he is not currently competing in. Some fans have criticized him for stirring up drama with fighters he may never actually face, while others argue that this is simply his personality and part of how he builds his presence and dominance in the sport. Regardless, Ilia continues to generate attention every time he speaks. During the live session, Ilia congratulated Ulberg on winning the belt, but immediately followed it with criticism. He repeated that Jiří's injury changed the outcome of the fight and insisted that the win does not fully prove championship-level status. He added that in his own fights, he does not believe in mercy and always aims to finish his opponent once he sees an opportunity. He reinforced the idea that his mindset separates him from others in the division, claiming that his instincts would have led to a decisive finish in that same situation. The comments have added even more tension to an already evolving light heavyweight landscape, with Ulberg now holding the belt while facing criticism from one of the most outspoken champions in the sport. Move on to another news. Carlos Ulberg has fired back at comments made by Jiří Procházka, calling them complete bullshit during an appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, and rejecting the idea that any mercy was shown in their fight. Ulberg responded to Jiří's claim that he showed mercy after noticing his injured knee, which allegedly led to him getting knocked out. He dismissed that explanation completely, saying it is absolute nonsense and calling Jiří a pretender in the process. He argued that what people saw was not mercy, but fear and hesitation. According to Ulberg, Jiří's reaction in the moment came from being unsure and uncomfortable, not from any kind of sportsmanship or controlled decision-making. He insisted that there was no mercy involved at all. Ulberg said that difference is what separates a real champion from someone who is simply performing for the crowd. In his view, a true fighter does not hesitate or step back in those moments, and he believes Jiří's reaction proved the opposite. He continued by doubling down on his criticism, repeatedly calling Jiří a pretender. He claimed that Jiri knew from their face-off that Ulberg was a serious threat and that the fight would be real and intense once it started. Ulberg said he could sense that recognition in the moment. He also explained that when his leg was compromised during the fight, Jiri may have thought that was his chance to finish it. However, Ulberg stated that he pushed through the damage, adapted under pressure, and refused to back down, making it clear he was not going anywhere. Ulberg described a moment during the fight where both men locked eyes, saying that in that exchange, Jiri realized the reality of the situation. According to Ulberg, that was the moment Jiri understood he was truly in a fight against someone who would not break under pressure. He emphasized that what followed was not mercy, but a breakdown in confidence from his opponent. Ulberg maintained that his resilience and ability to continue fighting, despite the injury, changed the momentum completely and led to the knockout outcome. He finished by reinforcing his belief that the narrative of mercy is false, insisting that everything that happened inside the cage came down to pressure, timing, and mental strength, rather than any act of compassion from Jiri Prochazka.